Welcome everybody to the Eden Army podcast. I am your host tonight, Pete Robertucci. It's what date is July 30th, season 2, episode 26 of the podcast, and we're coming to you live from YouTube, Facebook, X, and of course, kick.com. Don't forget, guys, to like, share, and subscribe. Since we were last on, Larry Dial resubscribe. Bullshit. Thank you. I see you're in chat. And guys in chat also. Thanks, guys, for the resub. It keeps the lights on. I see Rev's in chat. Salty Heifer made it in. I think Tony's in the background. He's not going to be here tonight. Probably got a gig, babysitting some dignitary from another country. I don't know what he's got going on, but regardless, he's there. He's here in spirit, and he's watching what's going on in the background somewhere. Let's see. FiB's in the house. Not only is he in the house on kick.com, he's also going to be in studio tonight, so that's kind of cool. EA1's in the house. Who else? Miss Terry, I said. And on and on and on and on and on. But kick.com/Eden Army is where we are at. Look, tonight we got the boys from FiB Preparedness, and Russ, of course, from Broken Spokes Productions is in the house. And we're going to be talking about the rules of 3 for survival. If you don't know what they are, Google them right now because we're about to have a discussion on it. We're also going to talk about Spain getting overrun. Not just Spain. Fuck it. All of Europe for the most part. The Democrats are broke. Imagine that. The other people's money always seems to run out. I don't know what it is, right? And of course, another hot topic was Dr. Fauci on Capitol Hill. Guys, I don't know if you can see it in chat, but I should mention that any gifted subscriptions on kick.com. So if you gift a sub on kick.com, it's going to go to a GoFundMe that's listed there. Of course, I'm just going to give the money direct because I hate GoFundMe. They're a bunch of communist bastards that just decide whatever they want to give money to. They put it up there. So all those proceeds are going to go to a couple of young mountaineers who are hoping to summit the Matterhorn in the summer of 2027. They're looking to raise about $4,000. Anything above and beyond that, they're going to give to charity. So any posted gifted subscription in kick.com, that money is going to go to them. And as a matter of fact, we'll donate, Eden Army Productions will give an extra $100, up to $100 to match anybody that gifts any subscriptions. So Tom, Bryce, get on. I know you're watching. Get on, figure out how to give subscriptions and make it happen. But remember, I am only giving $100 because I'm fucking tight, right? But there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. Let's see. Miss Dorn, you made it in the house. Battle Gnome made it. Samuel Weech made it. Patrick 7, how you doing? And of course, Skidmore. Mama Gnome's in the house. So let's bring the boys in. Let's bring all the boys in. What's going on, fam?
Evening.
Oh boy, that's it. That's the response I get right there.
Yeah,
everybody was so excited for the FiB boys to be on, and now that's what we get. Yeah. How you doing, Russ? What's going on in Montana area? Well, you're muted. Let me unmute you. Got you. I got you.
I'm having a blast, man.
We're screw that. Let me mute you again. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Go ahead. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Are we sure? First off, you left off WAD on the end of that tight sentence you made, but we're having a blast up here in Montana. We had a great weekend this past weekend up at Mountain Radius West. We had a bunch of folks, bunch of OGs from Normal Mountain Radius over in Harmony. They were up there. Bob put on a great show. Joe was a gracious host, and now I'm spending time with my 2 sons that live up here and our grandkids, and we're having a ball.
Outstanding. So all the kids are good health and all that good stuff?
Yep, all the kids are in good health and stuff, considering how much haze and fog, haze and smoke we have. Tom Bryce and his lovely wife, Kathy, and her sister Vicky, who a lot of us know, are up here with us, as well as Meta and Kelly are up here with us. So we're having a ball. We're just having a ball.
Very cool. Javi just made it in the house. It seems like every summer when I get up there, there's a haze, but mostly in my brain from drinking too much bourbon.
Well, yeah, there is that.
FiB boys. Now we got an extra FiB guy there. Why don't you introduce yourself over there, young man on the right of Mr. Mike?
It was Jeff.
I don't think
right?
he's talking to you.
It's Jeff, definitely Jeff.
Jeff is John, by the way, but Jeff to me.
I'm Jeff.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I'm good.
So,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
All right. So tell us about yourself. Tell us how you know the guy on your left. God help you. And what do you think about the things that are going on over there in Illinois with your new shop? I see there's a lot of stuff going on in the background there. We'll talk about that. We'll let Mike talk about the backdrop there and what's happening. But what do you think? How you know that guy next to you?
Well, I begged my mom for 9 months to not let him come out. That started it out, and then here he is, and he's been a pain in the butt for most of my life, but he's all right.
Absolutely. So, brothers, you're his older brother, obviously. And Mike, tell us about what is happening in your background there. What there's a new backdrop for you. What the hell's going on back there, brother?
This is the wreck of an office at the shop. We are still trying to. Well, the shop's finished. The office isn't.
So when you say shop, what shop is it? Shop that you have your 9 to 5 at, or are you doing something a little special?
We're going to be open every Thursday and Friday night, 4 to 7 Central Time here, and every Saturday from 9 to 4.
9 to 4.
9 to 4.
9 to 4.
Mainly
Excellent.
because we got to get breakfast first because I'm fat and I like to eat.
That we couldn't do the 9 to 5. Dolly Parton had a copyright on that, so what are you going to do?
It's got 2 copyrights on that, I think.
Yes, she does.
So good. So when's grand opening, guys, for the new FiB Preparedness? When is that? Has it already happened yet? Talked about that.
So we opened Saturday for a soft opening. We're still trying to figure out when to do an actual grand opening with food trucks and stuff like that. Trying to plan it out with everything. Got a lot going on in the neighborhood, so trying to just get it all lined out. And I'd like for the air conditioning to be done in the back because it's hot as hell back there.
He runs a sweatshop.
Yeah,
I know the feeling. It's almost like you're married to the guy, right? Because I get the same shit from over here at my place.
Mm-hmm. It's something like that, yeah.
Outstanding. Guys, we're going to be talking about the survival rule of threes tonight. And but first, I really got to do something that I didn't want to do, but I was going to record it, Russ. I was going to record this and just run it out because I don't like doing shit live. But my wife says, "Oh, you got to do it live. People love it." I hate it because I can't read. But we are going to. I got to talk about this Fauci thing because it's real. I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit. And when I go full screen, I'm about to go crazy. So we're gonna talk about this Fauci thing with the hearing yesterday. But first, let me pull this son of a bitch over. There you go. This is the guy right here. This is the guy, Fauci. So as you guys know, he was in a hearing yesterday. Rand Paul put a hearing together. He had already testified once before. In 2022, he said he would come back and answer any questions. There's nothing to hide. Of course, he was pardoned by Joe Biden. So there's really no reason for him to plead the fifth. He was pardoned, okay? But I want you guys to give me some insight on why he might have pleaded the fifth. But while most Americans were ordered to close their businesses, they lost their jobs, mask their children, and take a vaccine to keep their freaking careers, Anthony Fauci became the smug face of the entire operation. He was on The View. He was all over the place. He was a man of the year. He was this, he was that. His household wealth went from 7.5 million before COVID to more than 15 million by the end of 2023. Fauci pushed mandates and boosters while his own private diary revealed that he suffered a pulmonary infarction after being vaccinated. The American people never heard a damn word about the potential side effects of this poke from the same man that demanded blind trust and transparency from everybody else. Then when Congress finally demanded answers under oath, answers that he could give without self-incrimination because he was already pardoned, answers that he could give without being prosecuted by the federal government because he was auto-pen pardoned by Joe Biden, Fauci pled the fifth more than 100 times. Americans lost their jobs, businesses, savings, education, and loved ones. People died in nursing homes by themselves because their loved ones weren't allowed to go in while they were taking their last breath. Fauci got richer, became a celebrity, kept his own health scare private when he got the vaccine. And when accountability finally arrived, the great spokesman for science, trust the science, suddenly now had nothing to say.
It's Dr. Anthony Fauci in the hot seat. Major fireworks on Capitol Hill as Republicans pummeled the former head of the National Institutes of Health with questions about the COVID pandemic. But on the advice of his lawyers, he pled the fifth repeatedly. As Justin Finch reports, the man once known as the most famous doctor in America is now fighting for his reputation.
The man once hailed as the nation's savior got pummeled today as he pleaded the fifth, a grand total of 111 times.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, When
his attorney attempted to speak up for him,
security, please remove him from the room.
he was expelled from the hearing.
Thank you to you for your service to this nation.
Democrats came to Fauci's defense.
And it is unfortunate that you have been put in the position that you are in today.
But the hearing was dominated by Republicans who hold the now 85-year-old Fauci responsible for mistakes made during the COVID pandemic.
You got rich while people were dying.
Who the do you think you were for doing that?
What a difference 6 years makes.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
In March 2020, as the nation faced the historic crisis, Dr. Fauci's soothing confidence made him an instant celebrity.
You are seen to many as a superhero, but you are a human being, and you've been working nonstop.
He seemed to be on TV all the time, even talk shows. Brad Pitt played him on SNL.
I'd like to thank all the older women in America who have sent me supportive, inspiring, and sometimes graphic emails.
His just-released diary, which he kept on his government-issued laptop, shows he relished the fame. Press is going wild with me, he wrote. Very flattering. Truly unbelievable. People naming their dogs after me. But as the death toll rose and Americans suffered under punishing lockdowns and school closures, Fauci's star began to dim.
I mean, this guy was wrong about everything, and it's all documented.
Guys, it went from natural immunity wasn't as good as the vaccine to all of a sudden now, with what science we know now, the vaccine caused way more damage. 1.2 million Americans died. 1.2 million Americans. And I'm not saying that Fauci was to blame for that, although we funded gain-of-function research on this thing. We weaponized it. So, guys, FiB guys, do you think anybody right now will trust the healthcare system, especially the federal healthcare system, after all this BS just came out?
Oh, go ahead.
Fuck no.
I say yes, because they've been brainwashed. You know, that's the bottom line. You know, if you still, after all of this, you still call yourself a Democrat, you still call yourself a Republican, you are part of the brainwashed program that they wanted, and you will buy into whatever your party tells you to believe.
Is it treasonous, guys? Is it treason?
It should be, but no, it won't be.
It should be treason. And I'd like to see the ICC, the International Criminal Court, come into play here. They're so fond on jumping on top of Israel and saying Netanyahu is a war criminal. This guy potentially had the information that could have saved hundreds and hundreds of thousands of American lives. He subdued the information that ivermectin was effective against it. He made fun of it. If you even mention ivermectin was effective against it, you are a conspiracy theorist. You are a whack job. You are a tinfoil hat knucklehead. 6 foot rule never had any validity behind it. And the N95 mask, who wouldn't stop shit. Russ. Russ, I mean, what do you have to say about this, Russ? Give me your opinion on Mr. Fauci.
You would think after 111 times he'd be able to just know that by rote, but he looked down his nose every time, so he's a fucking idiot. You mentioned the ICC and the fact that the hundreds of thousands of people that died in the U.S. But what about the world? We are always characterized as the leader of the free world, and we're the last hope for the free world. We could have saved millions all over the world if they had not had done this scam that they did.
But potentially, we don't know what the numbers out of China actually were, guys. It could be tens upon tens of millions, right? So, boy, I don't
transfer.
I don't
transfer in history.
The fact that number one, his lawyer wasn't supposed to be there. Let me rephrase that. He could be there, but he wasn't supposed to be sitting beside him. The rules state he's supposed to be in the gallery. He could be behind him, but he wasn't supposed to be sitting beside him. And evidently he interrupted until he finally got his butt kicked out of there, which is, I think, is a good thing.
Was that a ploy to say that Fauci didn't have legal representation? Was that some kind of ploy? What do you guys think?
I think so.
Yeah, but he had six other attorneys behind him.
Yeah, but when he has presidential immunity, Fifth Amendment don't apply no more. It just don't apply.
So that
back to 1890 something. It happened there. It's been held up by the Supreme Court. Hey, let's get him for contempt.
So let me play devil's advocate here then. So the pardon applies to federal crimes. So is he hedging his bets, or is he covering his ass, I should say, against states potentially bringing them up on crimes? If not crimes, civil litigation. Is that why? Is that why he possibly could have done it?
Personal lawsuits.
That's what I mean, right? Civil litigation. Yeah.
Yes.
So that 15 million will be dwindling awfully quick when shit, you potentially could have killed way more people than that just by suppressing information. And not only was it him suppressing information, John, you mentioned it. You're talking about the Democrats suppressing information and legacy media, right? ABC News, Patrick mentioned it, saying, listen, if you don't think one mask is safe, put 3 on, right? NBC, CNN, put three N95 masks on. What kind of absurdity is that? So at the end of the day, they're all complicit. They all should be civilly held liable, and potentially, I don't know, maybe that's why Fauci ended up pleading the fifth. But I don't know how the color of what the color of your tie has to do with self-incrimination, or what color the rug is.
You just showed contempt. That's all.
That blows my mind.
And that's right, Mike. That's the thing, right? So it's not over, because they're going to bring him up on contempt of Congress. And he could face up to 5 years in prison. Him being 85 years old, I hope he gets charged. I hope he gets sentenced, and I hope he dies in prison the way he should, because of what he did. That's my opinion. There goes TikTok.
There goes TikTok. It went earlier because I think, who was it? Might have been Rev. I believe it actually might have been Rev called him a retard.
Oh yeah, TikTok doesn't like retard. You don't
say
we don't say retard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because if you say retard, right, most of TikTok's actual viewers are friggin' retards. So that would make sense to me. That's why they hate us.
Let me find it. Yep, it was the Rev. He's a retard, is what he said.
Well, Rev, I'm gonna give that one to you, brother. He is.
Yep. I'm gonna quick sidebar. We've been having a wonderful time with Tom's balls. His ice ball machine. God, we have been Tom's balls, my balls, because we had made a bunch of them up in Summit, and they put them in my freezer. So then there were Russ's balls one night, and Doc Will, and we had a blast, man.
Let me give you some background before. But look, maybe we'll get some LGBTQ fans out of the show.
Yeah.
But let me get some background about Tom's balls. He bought an ice maker that makes perfectly round
2-inch
ice
balls.
cubes, and they're just amazing.
And that was his prep of the week, right before I think it was Fallout or last year, or Mountain Readiness 1. And that was he came online and says his prep of the week is he bought an ice maker so he could, that makes 2-inch balls. So
exactly. And Will had mentioned something about emergency vaccine approval. Yes, that's exactly why they pushed it through state of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everything got pushed through so quickly. And the drug companies signed an agreement, said they could never be held liable for any of the side effects that are incurred by taking these vaccines. It's criminal. What's happened here is criminal. You talk about crimes against humanity. You just witnessed it. You've been a part of that for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Okay. So I have a question for you, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
If another pandemic happens, and do you think there will be more people not taking the jab versus more people taking the jab? And if there is something, because we saw the side effects of people taking the jab, and if that is a side effect that planned or unplanned, do you think that the people on the other side of the aisle from us will wake up and not take the jab?
No, I think they're idiots. I think they'll still look. They're still defending Fauci. To this day, they're still defending him. So no, I think they'll take whatever jab the left tells them to take. They talk about the right people being in a cult. Oh, don't drink the Kool-Aid. You guys took an experimental drug for an amped up flu that was made by your own government. Go F yourself.
Almost as many times as he pleaded the fifth. They took that damn shot.
That's how many boosters they had, right? Exactly. But to answer your question, and I've said this from the beginning when this was all, when a real pandemic does happen, because of this action that our federal government took, when a real one comes across the screen, when a real one starts killing people, people aren't going to take that vaccine, even though it might be legitimate because of what the federal government did to us. Trust the science, they said. The science couldn't even answer a question yesterday, right? So, no. So, yeah, look, I get a little pissed off about that. I've got friends that died from COVID.
I had family.
Our mother.
Yeah, we got a lot of healthcare workers. I was still on the field. I was still on the line during that time. People sick every day, having to take 10, 15 days off, mandated because they got the super flu, mandated to take days off. So what that do to the rest of the people on the line made them get mandate to work extra shift, making them more susceptible to end up getting sick and bringing that home to their family. So F the federal government for what they did to us during that pandemic. And look, thoughts and opinions expressed are solely of Pete's, not any reflection on FiB Preparedness or Broken Spokes Productions.
No, I'm in concurrence. Fuck the government.
Love your country, hate your government.
Exactly. What do you guys think in chat? I see a lot of retard things going on. Yes,
we are
Fauci
no longer on TikTok.
Guys, Fauci did take the jab, and 2 months later, he had a pulmonary obstruction caused, they won't say it's by the jab, but that was a side effect, come to find out, pulmonary emboli and blood clots. And he ended up getting that and never told a soul. Nobody would have known until they found his diary. So, yeah, there you go. That's your federal government. Trump came out yesterday and said that had he listened to Fauci, he would have closed the entire nation down, but he wouldn't do that. He was a federalist. He said, I'm going to leave it up to the states. So what ended up happening, blue states shut down everything, ended up with even a higher mortality rate than the red states that went about their business, kept schools open. The free state of Florida kept their schools open and didn't shut down the state. So there you go.
Well, Pete, before we move on, Tony D put out in the chat, he said, have a great show, guys. Love the shout out for my son.
Yeah, guys, again, any gifted subscription on Kick, that money's going to go to Tony's son and his friend who are going to go try to hike the Matterhorn in the summer of 2020. So let's get these mountaineers some money so this happens. And Eden Army Productions will match up to $100. So look, for $4, gift a subscription. Let's get these boys climbing the mountain.
Skidmore's got a good question, and Mike might be able to answer this one.
Or
Pete, I know I don't have it.
That's a rough one. Because it depends,
So-
right? I mean, some of those NBC filters we see are 50 years old. Are they still good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a great question. Let's remember this question when we get to the rule of threes, because air is the most important thing there. So we're going to talk about, maybe we'll talk about that one a little bit here.
Okay, but it's in the pinned.
Okay, cool. Julie's got preps coming up. Very cool.
Got it.
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb, Skidmore, for once you're actually using them is if you're able to rotate and clean the filters out, then you should be good to go. But I think actually the filters are going to tell you how many hours of usage they're going to be.
8 to 12 hours.
There you go. 8 to 12
And they
hours.
only last 10 to 20 years in storage. Once opened and used in a contaminated environment, it usually lasts 8 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
So not very long.
There you go. Guys, if you don't know what the rules, survival rules of 3 are, start asking questions, because that's going to be our main topic for the evening. Guys, let's talk about, speaking of stupid, retarded Democrats. Russ just shakes his head every time I go off on tangents like this.
I like AOC though, or at least her boobs.
Well, I mean, she could make more. Well, I don't know. Being a lawmaker seems to make a lot of money. Ask Ilhan Omar, but I mean, she might do good on OnlyFans. I don't know. Maybe. The Dems.
As long as you don't talk.
Yeah, well, that's a given here, right? Democratic Party, guys, is broke. Imagine that. Divided and turning on itself. Reports say the DNC chair, Ken Martin, is become completely isolated, while major donors are reluctant to fund the party anymore. Remember, they spent $1 billion to get Camel Toe Harris elected, and that failed horribly. Yeah, and they ended up losing money on that deal because they overspent what they actually had. So in 2024 they lost money, continue to lose money, and the panic isn't coming from Republicans; it's coming from inside their own walls. So let's see what this going on.
You will have a hard time recovering from this bombshell delivered by the New York Times. Inside the phone throwing at the troubled, broke Democratic Party. End quote. That's in the New York Times. It was Ken Martin who reportedly threw a phone at the desk of a staffer during a heated exchange. A complaint was lodged with HR. The Times describes Martin as, quote, increasingly isolated, gripped by fear that he will lose his job, end quote. The Democrats are frustrated with their party chair. They worry that trouble with the party machinery will lose them the otherwise winnable midterm elections. Martin's problem is money and a bitterly divided party. After Kamala Harris spent $1 billion losing to Donald Trump in 2024, donors, they're reluctant to cash into or pump cash into a party machine that is at odds with itself.
Guys, it's funny to me that after USAID gets pulled, USAID, right, the NGO gets pulled, a couple things have happened. We haven't seen riots like we used to see, and all of a sudden the DNC doesn't have money.
You forgot about the peace in Ukraine.
What's that?
You forgot about the pretty much peace in Ukraine. You don't see this anymore.
No, yeah. You don't see any of it. You don't see the flag waving. You don't see any of it. It's all BS. You don't see the BLM stuff going on. Antifa is gone so far underground that they're farther underground than the gay Ayatollah right now. That's on them bitches are underground.
He's under something.
What's that?
He's under something, just not sure what.
He is. I think I threw my notes away, Russ. Hold on.
Oh goodness. Well, and they spent a total of, like, I think it ended up being like $1.5 billion, including her campaign and other things. The DNC spent 15.8 and then another 22 million to bail out her debt from losing. They asked for 15 million with the possible of another 5. Math works for me.
Well, Russ, why are all their major donors pulling back? Is it because of the split in the party? Has the Democratic Party gone too far to the left?
I think it's number one, split in the party, and number two, that they felt, the donors, not necessarily DNC leadership, the donors felt like they got screwed because Kamala didn't win.
100%. And most of their donations, besides Will had mentioned George Soros, look, they're always going to give he's always going to give money. Well, I should say his son at this point, but he's always going to give money to the Democrats. Tom Bryce, outstanding. That's 1, 2.
Thanks, Tom.
That's a lot. I'll figure out the math later. So there you go. Thank you, Tom Bryce. And we're going to get those boys to the top of the mountain before you know it. So we'll push that for a couple more weeks, Russ, and see if we can just make it in, and then get them boys going. FiB boys, is the DNC going to be able to recover before midterms? They going to have any money? What do you think?
They'll pull it out of somewhere. I mean, we got to send aid to some other damn country that needs our ability to help launder it back into us. So yeah. I think they'll have something.
They'll have something. They took a loan out on their headquarters for $15 million. So they put their headquarters. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if they defaulted on that loan? If they defaulted, or better yet, if they overvalued what they thought the building was worth.
Yeah.
Because isn't that what they got Trump on? Isn't that what all those misdemeanors he turned into a felony?
That's different. He's a misogynist. I mean, come on.
Jeez. Islamophobe, all kinds of things. But his
their
movement,
next presidential candidate will have bailed them out. It'll be Trickster or something like that. He's gonna throw that Hyatt money at him.
He don't have that kind of money to bail him.
His family does. If he gets a chance to become president, and
there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money on the left, but unfortunately, we have the richest African American with us on the right, and he is all in for midterms. Elon Musk says he's all in. He's going to do whatever it takes to keep socialism out of this country, and we'll see if it puts his money where his mouth is. Lord knows he's got enough of both. So yeah, I think the Democratic Party's turning on itself. Like I've been saying the last few weeks, they're split, and that would be the best thing for patriotic Americans, is to have that Democratic Party split the vote, and we could see something great happening within the next 12, 16 years, throughout the next 16 years. We'll see what happens. Hell, I don't know.
Absolutely.
But the MAGA movement is strong, and I just ran across a guy who's actually running for Senate in Minnesota, of all places. I don't know if he's got a chance in hell of winning, but his name is Royce White. I'm going to show you a video. This guy, I like him. He doesn't pull any punches, no careful scripted answers, no avoiding the issue. He tells the voters exactly what they want to hear.
You wanted it, you got it. Royce White, you're up next.
God bless us. All of this is very poetic, but the time for happy talk is over. Mass deportations. Mass deportations. 15 million illegal foreign invaders as an appetizer. 15 to 20-year moratorium on all immigration. We got to get a head count in this country. And if we don't want to do that, we don't have a country. I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm the guy that'll go down into Minneapolis, right to see the Riverside, and I'll tell the Somali leaders during this campaign, the answer to Somalia is not in Minneapolis, it's in Mogadishu. It's not here, it's there. And you guys better go fight for your country and figure out why all these desperates and warlords end up in charge. Oh, wait a minute. That would be our intelligence community, wouldn't it, Adam? Yeah. How did Somalis get here in the first place? That would be Black Hawk Down. And we are on the verge of doing the same thing in Iran, mind you. If we continue this war there and we displace a bunch of Iranian refugees, where do they end up? In Europe. And then we subsidize Europe's continent, and then we clap for the king when he makes landfall in our halls of Congress, and he refers to himself as a sovereign, and he's given the continent over to Muslims hand over fist. Are we going to get serious, or are we going to keep playing politics? Because our enemies aren't. Thank you. Oh, I'm starting to win some folks over. Amen.
I like what the guy has to say. Of course, he's in Minnesota, so we know that's a deep blue state because of the big cities, obviously. But he does come with a little bit of baggage. Terry mentioned earlier that she thought he had run for something. He has run before. He got 45% of the vote against the governor of Minnesota last time. But I like what he's saying. The Republican Party has not backed him yet, mostly just because there were some finance issues with his last campaign. So I don't know how all that's going to play out. But he seems very articulate. And I think he's going to promote the MAGA movement further along the line. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Is he just saying what voters want to hear, or what?
Yeah, you sprung this one on me. I hadn't had that chance to really do any research with it, but he talks a good talk, and I'm hoping that he can back up what he says. I mean, if he got 45% against, now 45% is against the RNC candidate or against
against the Democratic Amy Bloke, whatever the hell her name is.
Cockblocker, whatever her name is. And so that says something for Minnesotans. And if we have gotten enough of the brought in votes, we'll see what happens. I hope so. I mean, I would like to drive through Minnesota or Minneapolis, St. Paul one of these decades. It's going to take decades before I'm even willing to even try that.
I'm going to have to see the record. There's too many damn rhinos to begin with.
Yeah, I agree. And like Rev said, he does have some baggage. Like I just mentioned, there were some campaign finance things that went on. I'm not sure that the RNC actually asked him to drop out of that gubernatorial race. He refused to do so and still got plus 40% of the vote against the Democrat incumbent. So it's a big deal. Again, the RNC is not backing him for Senate. So that's why they're having that primary right now.
Well, if Minneapolis is anything like in Illinois, I mean, a Republican here is just a Democrat that might have a hunting rifle or a shotgun.
And that was my question. Since you guys are fibbers and you're from this area, right? Can a candidate this blunt, this red, actually stand a chance in Minnesota?
No.
Yeah.
Well, if they're a divided party, the Democrats in the city, then he's got a chance. Because if they're fighting themselves, then yes. I mean, believe it or not, Illinois has actually had a Republican governor once. He went to jail and all, but shit, we had one.
Right. Exactly. But remember, now he'll get the RNC, he'll get the primary votes. But then are they so treasonous? Are they so TDS, the Democrats, I mean, will they just vote for someone just because they're a Democrat opposed to a guy like this, regardless of the far left socialism part of him or the moderates? I guess that's the question we're going to find out if he does get the nod from the RNC.
I mean, I couldn't vote for anybody blue in this last election. Not a single one. I mean, Green Party, Red Party, that's where I was going. Nobody blue.
Exactly.
Even the blue people that I grew up with their kids. No way in hell.
Yeah, exactly. But you guys are outside of the big cities, right? I mean, you're outside. So, and just like we all know, that the populous areas within the states, they control the vote. Wisconsin's the same way with Madison, Milwaukee, places like that, right? Illinois, Chicago, you got whatever other crappy shithole town y'all got there. But just like Wisconsin, once you get out of those areas, once you get out of those big city areas, look, I don't find up here in Wisconsin, I don't find I voted for Joe Biden sign anywhere, even during the elections. I never saw that, right? Now, you do have some people on Facebook that are closet Dems that now realize that people are going to call them retarded if they actually come out of the closet, and they're starting to poke their ugly head around. But these people can't even tell you what a woman is. Some guy called me a fascist the other day. I said, define fascist. And he blocked me. Because once he defined what a fascist is, I says, that's the Democratic Party. Oh, you mean you're going to mandate health care on somebody? You're going to mandate a vaccine? You're going to squash the voice of a political figure, like not run his prime time thing on legacy media? You people are the fascists. You call yourself anti-fascist. I don't care. I call myself a stone. It doesn't make me a stone. You know, still Pete. Fuck, man. Russ, I'm getting fired up.
I know. My soundboard reset itself, so I don't have my ding to ding you to calm you down a little bit. But I did a little research while you were on your rant in regards to Mr. Royce White. Campaign finance spending controversies, strip club and luxury spending hit over $157,000 in donor funds for personal offense. Used cash. Hey, he all new Miami strip club, Gold Rush Cabaret. You're aware of that. You danced there on LGBTQ night, and
$20 singer stripping.
$20 is $20, bro.
I understand, and we know you're a tightwad. Big Three entourage funding. He played in Ice Cube's Big Three professional basketball league while doing his campaign, and had a huge entourage. Massive credit card fees. On a more serious side, and while campaign finance is serious, he had some allegations of domestic abuse and unpaid child support. Interestingly enough, he has some inflammatory rhetoric against, anti-Semitic statements, frequently drawn condemnation, including from the Republican Jewish Coalition for railing against what he called Jewish elites and claiming that Jews invoked the Holocaust to cover for corruption. Then he of course, he bashed the LGBTQ community, and he's got a lot of far-right conspiracy theories, which we all know are more truth than fiction nowadays, because we're 50-0 right now? I don't know. 2020 election integrity, origins of COVID, and satanic influences within the federal government. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Back to you, Pete.
Yeah, well, I think with the exception of the strip bars and the domestic stuff, I mean, look, the man can ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a baller, but no, that's probably why the RNC did not promote him. But he's talking a good game, and we'll see. We'll know whatever the primaries have in store. But he's against illegal immigration, as you can tell from his very first statement: deport them all. And it appears Europe is losing control in real time over the last 2 days, guys. I don't know if you've been following this, but overnight, thousands of illegal migrants poured into Spain from Morocco, overwhelming the border security and forcing the government to deploy the military. This isn't compassion, it's a nation surrendering. It's not a nation, it's a continent surrendering because of weak leaders refuse to defend their damn borders. Tell me when I watch this, easy, that's Javi. Tell me when you watch these videos, what do you think about this? I want to know, look at the people coming over the border. Tell me what you think of them. Tell me what they are and what's missing out of these poor refugees that are destitute. Tell me what's missing. Overnight, Russ, they had to call in the military. What's missing from that picture?
Women and children first.
John, women and children, the poor, destitute women and children. Those are all military-aged males coming over the border right there in Spain.
When I watched this video prior to the show, and I didn't have any context, and I immediately thought it was running of the bulls. And I was like, so when you asked me this question, the first thing I said was these big freaking 2-ton animals with big horns knocking these people in the air, which what needs to have happened. But yeah, I agree.
Like that 100%. Buffalo that got that old man.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy got some air.
Or release Rosie O'Donnell, put some horns on her, and let her take him out.
She can't run that fast.
This could have been a picture from FIFA after Argentina won the fucking World Cup.
That's true. Maybe I'm being fooled. Maybe that wasn't Spain. Maybe that was just a celebration.
Yeah,
guys, they told us. They told us their jihad would happen like this. Look, it's not. They know they can't take on anybody from a military standpoint. What they hope to do now is come into your countries, assimilate for a short point until they take control of the country. They start getting into your politics. Then they start moving towards Sharia law, which
They
is
own every
happening.
gas station, so why not?
No, those are Indians.
Oh, sorry, pardon me.
Yeah, dot, not feather.
Yes, dot. Thank you. Come again. But I wouldn't doubt if a couple of the Muslims were doing that there. What Skidmore said, need to spread the plague isotope that affects everyone that doesn't eat pork. There you go. Pork be the cure. But again, even the Quran will tell them, it'll tell them they need to do whatever it takes to assimilate and fool their enemy. They're allowed to lie to their enemy for jihad. All you have to do is read their playbook. That's the Quran. That's all you have to do is read it, and they'll tell you exactly what you're going to do. It's just not rocket science, guys.
That ain't holding back.
Let's pay some bills, and then we're going to get on to the topic for tonight, guys.
Absolutely.
The Eden Army podcast is proud to be sponsored by Preparedness Health Systems, your one-stop shop for research-grade peptides and GLPs. Preparedness is not just about food, water, and defense. It's about understanding health, longevity, and resilience in a tough world. Preparedness Health Systems provides research-grade products for those serious about education, preparedness, and staying ahead of the curve. Email Preparedness Health Systems at preparednesshealth@yahoo.com. Proud sponsor of the Eden Army podcast. Research use solely, not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Thank you, Troy, over at Preparedness Health, for signing up for another 3 weeks, guys. I don't know if you saw the news, but if you're a peptide guy, if you're into that research, right? If you're into the research factor of this, Eli Lilly is looking right now to put a patent on a peptide called Robertucci. They're in the final phases of that. I don't know what's going to happen to that particular peptide once Eli Lilly gets a patent on it. Once the government gives them a patent, you know what happens to the prices of everything. So get your research grade peptides, and you can email Preparedness Health at preparednesshealth@yahoo.com. Whew, that's a lot of talking, Russ.
It is. It is a lot of talking. You used up almost all of your 3 minutes of oxygen.
I know, right? Exactly. But that brings us right to our topic for tonight, which is a survival rule of 3. Mike, I put a post on the other day on one of my little AI generated things I put out on Facebook. Tell the crowd what the survival rule of 3s is.
3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and according to Brian Duff, 3 seconds without the right mindset.
Right, exactly. So I never heard that 3-second thing, but I like it. Some guy, I think Craig emailed me, he goes, 3 seconds, what do you say, 3 seconds of hope. And he goes, and I named my Glock 23 Hope. So
if you think about it, the people in deep despair, it's less than 3 seconds for them.
Oh yeah, they're going to pull the plug right
Well
away,
said.
aren't they?
Well said.
They're going to pull the plug. I get that. So guys, that's the mindset you have to have, and that's the way you should approach survival and preparedness in general. Alan Kay, we all know him, we all love him. He won the first season of Alone. Well, I had asked him, I go, how did you know where to start? He goes, I started with the thing that was going to kill me quickest. And that's how he was able to survive the whole thing. What is Kelly doing? Kelly,
he's
probably
probably
having
sitting...
a seizure. Go check on him. Oh, I see what he's got there.
I agree with Julie. 3 minutes without coffee is a bad.
Yeah, forget about. Yeah, exactly. Prep your coffee, guys.
That's water.
Yeah, that is water.
Well, it is. It's just warm water. Russ, what could one person do? Let's say, one thing we don't, and I take this in consideration because of my homestead down in Florida. I just know how somebody would defeat that homestead immediately. What's the one thing you can have in case of a fire in your house that would help you get out and get away with your life?
Everybody knows fire extinguishers. But some things that I've been looking at to use even in the camper are fire blankets. And if you have a 2-story home and your bedrooms are upstairs, you better have a fire ladder, because you may not be able to egress through your normal pathways. And I can't stress that enough.
Agreed. I agreed. Next, where's
Sorry, we got a customer.
Customer. Oh goodness. Well, you're gonna have to field this question though. What's that one breathing item that you could possibly at one point get from FiB Preparedness store that every household should own for breathing? And it could be something simple. We made fun of it earlier for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean these poor masks? Come on.
Look, honestly though, if you don't have anything else, an N95 mask is going to help you a little bit. Look, it's not going to stop you against the little particles that COVID had. But if you needed to get egress out of your house during a fire, during a dust storm, or whatever, if you're on the road, you should have an N95.
I got better odds of going into my wife's linen drawer and taking out a pair of her panties and put it over my face. I'm going to survive just as well.
Well, you got that, John. You got that little freak in you. I like it, brother. I dig it.
Pete.
By the way, we're raffling off a pair of John's wife's panties to help these guys get to the top of the mountain.
We need to get John to a campfire at Mountain Readiness.
Oh,
that's
good
all I'm
God.
saying.
Oh, good God! That he probably would. And there's no doubt he's gonna fit right in. So look, guys. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Pete.
Look, at a minimum, N95. Why N95? Even if you're not having a breathing problem, even if the air is not contaminated, imagine, let's take a play from the anti-fascist playbook. When you're walking and you want to hide your identity, and N95, they're doing it today. You look at these ICE protesters. What are they wearing? They're wearing N95s, right? Because for one thing, they're hiding their identity. So you want to be gray man to get from point A to point B within the first 72 hours of a shit hits the storm or shit hits the fan event, N95 minimum. So there you go.
That's where your area studies come in, folks. You know, being able to know what's in your area and your routes of egress to get out of that area. Are you going to have to go through a not so like-minded area? It's a disguise. I'll say the word. It's a disguise.
It's a disguise.
It also helps you hide from the flock cameras.
I was going to say that very much because I was going to say that exact thing because we talked about that last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, why not conceal your identity when you're trying to be gray man? I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying you're trying to get from point A to point B and be a gray man about it. N95, anything to cover your face is better than nothing, I think. Talk about the next thing. What was the next thing? Shelter, right? 3 hours in inclement weather without shelter. I am a tent guy. And look, you can buy tarps. You can buy whatever you want. I get it. You can sleep on the ground. I'm a tent guy, and I want a nice sleeping bag. So in my bug out bag is going to be a tent of some type and a sleeping bag for cold weather. Look, I could always shed clothes in the summertime.
Yeah. And it's not just cold weather. I mean, extreme heat. You happen to be in a desert or up in Montana and Wisconsin this summer, and when it's so hot. And but you got to protect yourself from extreme heat, extreme cold, wind, rain. You got to be able to protect that stuff.
Direct sunlight.
Layers. Yep, direct sunlight.
Yep. Rev says, how about a full hijab? Yeah, exactly. Anything. Look, these people in the desert cover themselves for a reason. The way they cover themselves, we should take note of that. These nomads in the desert did it for a lot of the hundreds and thousands of years. So yeah, cover yourself. So shelter. I'm a tent guy. I do hammock in the summertime. Whatever. I rotate the stuff out of my bag, but I always have a sleeping bag, regardless, down to 20 degrees in Florida, regardless of what season it is. Russ, anything else you can think of for shelter, brother?
No, but learning how to build those shelters, get the training. I mean, we're all currently watching this season 13 of Alone, Go Jacks, and we're all watching it right now, and you see the different types of shelters. But if you ever get a chance to talk to Angry American, he's got a video of Alan Kay up on one of the mountains in Georgia, and he comes out of this little hole that he had dug overnight and slept in with his 7 layers of whatever he's got on, and you'd have never known he was there. You'd have literally never known he was there. So you got to keep that into account. You got to make sure, yes, you can build a shelter, and if you're in a what's the word I want to use, a less than friendly environment, you need to make sure that's hidden. A bright, or at least blend in with your surroundings.
Agreed. So some of the notes I made for shelter was tarps, cordage, duct tape for repairs, heavy plastic sheeting if you want to. Heavy plastic sheeting has another purpose, guys, for those things that fly in the air and happen to look down on you. Yeah, there's a plastic sheeting or visqueen could help with that particular thing. Sleeping bag rated and blankets rated for whatever season you're in. And then one thing I failed to mention is, what about rain gear? It's not just about, you can get hypothermic if it's in the rain and 80 degrees if you're soaked all the time. So what about rain gear? So shelter, 3 days in inclement weather, shelter is gonna be a bad deal for you.
Absolutely.
I should say 3 hours. 3 days is the water aspect of this, Russ. And I think that what do we say in our little book? You need a gallon per person per day in a not stressful time. So when shit hits the fan, clearly that's going to be stressful. So think 2 or 3 gallons per person per day. And when I audit mutual assistance groups, these people say, we're fine. We have a well and we have a backup generator. I said, perfect. But they don't protect their well. So there's nothing around it. I can clearly see where their well is. And if I wanted to take it out, I could very easily take it out without anybody ever noticing. So protect your well, protect your water source. And look, the one thing everybody should have at a minimum in their bug out bags, a life straw. Life straw and the tablets to disinfect your water.
Absolutely.
And then my next step would be obviously boiling everything, right?
Yeah. Know the different ways of being able to purify water. Having had to use the iodine tablets at one time, it sucks. I'm just going to say that out. It sucks.
And you can only use those for so long before they jack your system up.
Exactly.
Right? So, yeah, Kelly. No, I'm not gonna read that. Yeah,
not true though.
EA1 mentioned something that I realized, being a Floridian and hurricanes, how much water you actually use. And it's not just for drinking, it's for flushing the toilet, it's for washing your hands, it's for everything. So guys, it's not just about being dehydrated, it's about having enough to actually not just survive, but to actually thrive and do the things you have to do when the shit hits the fan, right? So very cool. What's next? Got water.
Food's next, man.
Food.
3 weeks without food could be a little difficult, for some people.
I'm a fat boy. I ain't making it that long.
Yeah, hey, brother, I'm right there with you.
No, look, I'm not one of those weird. I'm going to invite you to my mutual assistance groups, because at the end of the day, I mean, look, if I get hungry enough, John, I'm just saying. Look, I've already been checking out that shoulder meat.
Yeah.
I could grill that shit up. I got no problem with that.
Now, here in the gay community, I'm a bear, so why not?
Oh, goodness. Miss Julie is the master of food. Julie Dorn, the master of food preparation and preparedness. If you have any questions, guys, just hit her up. She's into dehydrating. She's into pressure canning. She's into water bath. She's into freeze drying.
Oh, absolutely.
That's her thing. And I was so happy when I finally got my wife on the food train, where it's just like, okay, now you can start pressure canning, you can start figuring this stuff out, because my biggest problem is how am I gonna store proteins? Yeah, freeze drying and pressure canning. And pressure canning is a whole bunch better than freeze dried proteins. I can promise you that.
Yeah. Patrick, like Patrick Seven says, it's just like a pet dog. They're fun companions, but if you're hungry, they'll do in a pinch. Dog makes a mighty fine meal.
100%. One question I had for disappearing Mike was, what food gives preppers the best long-term value? And you can just switch seats and do what Fauci did over there, John.
I plead the fifth. No.
Okay, there you go. You will not be incriminated.
Well, actually, we carry peak, so so obviously it's the. I got a back hit, so hey, buy peak, eat peak.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is the peak freeze dried, and I can tell you that that's some of the best freeze dried meals you can actually have. Now, I'm not saying if you have a freeze dryer, go buy a shit ton of this stuff. Just freeze dry your own stuff, make it taste the way you want. But if you are buying it off the shelf, Peak, hands down, Peak freeze dried foods is probably one of the best in the market. And
I haven't tried that one yet.
Julie, if you can figure out how to freeze dry those Jello shots you have,
she'd make a fortune with the people at Mountain Readiness alone.
Well, if they can figure out how to freeze dry biscuits and gravy, Jello shots shouldn't be that hard.
There you go.
I agree 100%. Very cool. So, guys, let's just roll to the prep of the week, shall we, Russ? I actually have a couple of them.
Oh, look at you.
Let's run this.
It's time for this week's prep of the week.
Guys, before we go through the prep of the week, last chance, we're going to end the show here soon. Last chance to gift subscriptions for the GoFundMe account. Again, I am not giving any money to GoFundMe. I'll just figure out how to get it to Tony and his son, but we will match up to $100 if you get a gift subscription right now. I know Mr. Tom stepped up and bought a metric ton of them. We appreciate that. So we're going to do this for, like I said, next couple of weeks and try to get these boys good to go. Russ, what do you got for prep of the week, brother man?
Well, let's see. What did we do this week? I did a lot of mental health this week. I am being able to spend some quality time with my sons up here in Montana and our grandkids that are up here in Montana. That's good for both mine and Teresa's mental and spiritual well-being. We don't get to see them as often as we should. We have been also prepping our livers. That goes without saying when you're up here with all these hooligans and Tom Rice. And, like Tom says, we're going to have to make a bourbon run already. So.
What you mean? You're going to have to? He was supposed to bring double back.
We'll talk about that offline.
Oh, boy, Tom, very disappointed in you. We're going to have to reevaluate your mutual assistance.
But let's get it. So, John, I'm assuming y'all's prep of the week is getting ready for this early opening and trying to get the building up and running. And, man, that's awesome. We've known Mike for several years, and it couldn't help it to nicer two fellows.
Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, it's been a juggle between real work and I don't know what you want to call this, the dream job, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been hard. Mike has put an ungodly amount of hours into getting this store open. He has really picked it up. He has been the we'll call it the leader for being the middle brother, the little turd. He's been the man. I'll give him that.
Well, I agree, guys. And the day I met Mike, I knew he was going to fit in just great, and we're going to do everything we can to help him thrive, get rid of that paying job, and
look at it, he's coming back.
Blister.
And let this fun job be full time.
Right.
So we're doing prep of the week, Mike. Nothing like the prep of the week when throwing your older brother to the wolves. Making him get on the camera, abandoning him, so much for no man left behind.
This was all planned.
Yep.
Exactly. He's making you step up. So we already determined that your guys' prep of the week was getting that damn storefront up and running and making it happen. Now, I understand Patrick had a prep of the week, and I don't want to put you on the spot again. Patrick had you make him something. And I'm not quite sure if you're able to show that or not. And if you guys know, FiB's going to have the P7 shirts, but you got to know what this is all about. So this is not just for the normal everyday buyer. You got to be in the tribe to understand exactly what
Chat
this
is.
I'm going to put him on big screen here.
Yep, and Chat's getting ready to blow up.
Yeah. So that's the Patrick 7 shirt, and him and Tiny Tooch had a little thing going in one of the mountain readiness events. So apparently he took her profile picture and made that particular shirt. So those might be available at some point if you're going to support FiB and Mr. Patrick 7 in the ongoing, but just starting war between him and Tiny Tooch, because she already says it's going to be game on. So I can only imagine what kind of shirts I'm going to have to design from here on out.
I know, right?
Oh yeah.
So guys, go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. You're going.
I'm going to run through my prep of the week, and then we're going to run through y'all's prep of the week. I'm going to go big screen here, Russ, real quick, and then I'm going to run something here. My prep of the week is my honeydew. I saw this particular thing at the Birchwood Bluegill Festival. Some guy was selling them for like $400 or $500, and as frugal as I am, you knew there was zero chance that I'm buying that when I know I can. God willing, I know I could build that thing. So I built Miss Melissa a pub table to go next to the fire ring or on the porch. So we got that for a small price of $130. I was able to build that thing. But Russ, I'm going to stay on big screen here for a second. This is not really a prep of the week, but this is probably one of the most amazing things I've found in a long time. And I found this the other night at the Legion, Russ. Have you guys ever saw these before? Let me tell you about these things here. These things here, you know, you like the little microwave popcorn thing? No, screw that. Too many carbs. Tastes like shit. You put these dudes in the microwave for 2 minutes, they come out hot and crackling and tasting good. Look, if you're on crack right now, just do this. You'll stop crack and eat a ton of these. But don't worry, there's no carbs. I bought these things on Amazon, Lowry's pork rinds. Buy the spicy ones. They're not spicy. They're friggin' amazing. Lowry's pork rinds, my prep of the week. I don't know how I'm going to get a microwave working when shit hits the fan, but I can promise you there's a case of these coming a week until the day I die. That's what I got going on. These things are like freaking crack, Russ.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait to try those.
Oh, I'm telling you, 2-week cycle. They're coming every time. Amazon, boom, boom, boom.
Awesome,
done deal.
Well, you know, speaking of foods, Patrick's prep of the week. I'll pop it up here. His prep of the week says, after realizing a cache he had expired foods, I replaced it and discovered a different one needed it too. So, not only is he rotating his food, he's also checking his caches that he has put out. His caches.
Love it.
Or caches, cool. Whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, that's what he meant. Throw the next one up. I got it.
Yep.
Oh, Tom Bryce's prep of the week is he's going to have to make a bourbon run. Well, look, I'm saying you got from Montana to Wisconsin to figure this shit out, Tom.
All right. So the whole folks that were up here, the whole tribe folks that were up here heading back, Taylor and John and the kids stopped at a hot springs outside of Bozeman, Montana, as a guest of one of the vendors. And he's, 104-degree hot springs into a 59-degree plunge stool. And his reasoning behind it was he was having to detox from all of the bourbon and cigars that we went through for the last 3 days.
So he's got to detox by buying more, apparently.
Yeah. So
Miss Dorn cooked and shredded pork butts in the freeze dryer. Grabbed 24 more cans of tuna on sale. Grabbed 10 cans of chicken. Grabbed another 5 to 10 cans of corn, 5 of green beans, and 5 of peaches. And all of it will eventually be freeze dried. All heads.
Oh, let's see. Heads up on all canned items.
Gotcha.
Looks like prices will be going up due to the rising cost of the cans. Charlie Samowick may be able to give more info. Sorry, so long.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, we just cut off there. Rev's been on vacation. I think he went to Texas or somewhere, so he doesn't have any prep, but he did send me pictures on how he was taking care of himself in the shady motels. But he keeps calling magazines clips, and me and him are gonna have to
we gotta fix that problem. But like I said with my preps, Rev, you were over there spending time with family. That's good for the soul. Skidmore says he's got 10 pounds of activated carbon on the shelf.
Patrick says he's going to do a little camping. He's going to try that dollar store $100 challenge. There was a video on that, and it actually looked good. I'm a fan of dollar store, guys. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm a huge fan. But plus, here in Birchwood, Wisconsin, we have the small little tiny grocery store, which is great but expensive. Mm-hmm. And the next best thing is the dollar store.
Dollar General.
So, yeah.
So, I think I'm going to throw this idea out and put you on the spot, but we can always talk about it offline. What if we ask our listeners to do the $100 challenge and videotape it, and then we choose a winner, and then they get something to be determined?
Yes, we'll definitely give a prize for how they do it. They can't cheat like that guy off Corporal's Corner does.
Exactly.
Stay in a hotel. But
yeah, they got to have video, proof of life.
Got to have proof. And I think Patrick would definitely do it. Hell, Patrick.
Yeah.
He said he bought a Geiger counter, a little 7. Oh, look for a little 7. They've been teaching him how to use it by walking around in nature and finding rocks and fruits that have a little bit of radioactivity. That's cool.
What'd you say, Mike?
Does it have to be from the dollar store?
Be Dollar General.
Or Dollar General, any type of Dollar General, Dollar Store, Family Dollar, $100 challenge. You use $100 and you got to. That's all you can take out in the field with you.
We're not changing the store name to Dollar Fibs.
No, Here's what you could do. Here's what you could do, Fibbers. You could put together a package, all inclusive. This is $100 from the dollar store. We sell them here for $110. Let's see if you can survive for a night on it. There you go. Sell them within the store.
See what I come up with.
Skidmore says he's got 30 foot of surgical tubing and a case of doggy bags. What do you get the surgical tubing for? Oh, maybe for some type of water filtration type of system, I bet.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when that came through the chat, so I don't quite remember when. Let's see here. Did anybody add any more? Don't believe.
Make sure we didn't get any more gifted subs. I'm going up. Guys, sorry, I'm just reading through chat.
Not again. There you go. Tony says, thanks again for shouting out my boys' GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And
FiB
I don't see anything. I don't see necessarily anything else in the chat. That if I missed something, guys, post it again and we'll post it up. But it looks like that's all we got there, Pete.
Outstanding, guys. Guys, Fibbers, you know how this works. At the end of the show, we always leave the viewers with a little bit of words of advice. So, guys, you are.
Well, you could always bottle up all the hurt, the anger, all that inside, let it burn you up.
Or you could just punch your little brother.
Yeah, or you could just box with each other and see how it goes. But don't hold that shit in. Use it for what you need to get through something, and then get some help.
Scream, cry, whatever it is you got to do, get it out, and move on. I think Rocky said it's not how hard you get hit, but how many times you get up or some shit like that. It's to getting up and keep moving. That's what means most. Life sucks, and it's going to drag you down, but you got to keep going.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you very much. That's good advice. Look, turn it into something else. That's what we always say. That's what I write to little Lakin Donnelly in my books. When she gets sad, I go, turn it into something else. Russ, what are your final words, brother?
Well, man, another great podcast, Pete, as always. Mike, it was great seeing you and meeting your brother finally. Folks, get your training. Talk to your folks. Get your preps in. Do the best you can with what you got. And man, Pete, that's all I got. And I'll see you maybe if everything works out. Maybe I think I should be back next Thursday.
Sounds good, guys. One last minute prep of the week. Guy came in and said he took a bunch of long-term food to the bug out location. Absolutely perfect. Love that. Rev says, forget the dollar store. Wisconsin could do a quick trip challenge. Hell, that would be easy. Guys, look. I've every time I research these things, I realize where I'm lacking. I was terrible about the masks. I've never been even though I went through all the nuclear biological classes with the fire department, I never really had a good mask. But that's part of being in a group, because where I was failing, Jason says you need this and you need to train with this. But I never really thought of it, because I've been wearing these masks, those type of masks, my whole life, at least during my fire service. So I never really gave it a second thought. So I appreciate everybody allowing me to do this podcast, because as I dive into topics, it helps me realize where my deficiencies are. Look, I don't know how things are going to go. Be prepared. Don't be paranoid, right? Get a hold of those guys at FiB Preparedness, and they're working on their website. Hit them up. We know we like to support the tribe, so start buying some stuff from them. We're going to leave the GoFundMe deal up for a couple more weeks, try to get that thing paid off for Tony's son, and we're going to try to make this happen. So it doesn't matter where the world goes, guys. Be prepared. Don't be paranoid. Yeah, it's okay to be a conspiracy theorist, but at the end of the day, be safe. And if you can't be safe, fuck it. Be dangerous. Thanks for watching the Eden Army podcast. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, be safe. If you can't be safe, be dangerous.